The sun came up this morning in spite of the Pirates' loss last night to the Philadelphia Phillies here at Citizens Bank Park. Today it is Game 4 between the Bucks and the Phils, and the Pirates with a chance for a series victory. Hi again, everybody, with John Wehner. I'm Tim Neverett. Robbie Makowski will join us in just a bit. Jung Ho Kang in the lineup today. And, John, since he's been in the lineup a little bit more regularly, he's been more comfortable at the plate.
He's used to being comfortable at the plate. Had a great career over in Korea. He's a guy that's used to hitting the ball at the ballpark and driving in runs. A couple of home runs, 5 RBIs since April 29th. Off to a slow start in the States this spring training and carried over into April. But since playing, he's been hitting the ball hard.
And as our lows never stop improving. As far as the pitchers go today, it's a battle of right-handers and guys with experience in this ballpark. Vance Worley, the former Philly, 1-0 against his former club. He'll face Aaron Harang, who today will make his 29th start against the Pirates. That's more starts by any active pitcher against Pittsburgh.
These two right-handers have pretty similar stuff. Same velocity, same movement on the fastball, mix in a curveball. Change up, cut the ball a little bit. Worley coming off a rough start against the Cards, was hit hard. No strikeouts, 3 walks for Vance. Harang, he's been steady. I mean, a 37-year-old guy still getting it done, especially against the Pirates.
So it's Aaron Harang once again against the Pirates and Vance Worley. The Bucks determined to take 3 of 4 from Philadelphia. We will have the lineups and first pitch next on Root Sports.
Of your drive. Just ask a friend who drives one. Toyota, let's go places. By Barrel Automotive, we're driven to be better. And by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks.
Well, Jung Ho Kang and Neil Walker for a pregame ritual. Seems like all the players have them. Now with Sean Rodriguez. Very pleasant afternoon in Philadelphia. Blue skies, temperature in the mid-70s expected today. as the Pirates and Phils wrap up this 4-game series. Their road trip will continue after this one. The Pirates will jet over to Chicago, play 3 straight afternoon games. Rock, about the Rivers Casino tips to win today?
29th time is a charm, hopefully, against Aaron Harang. He has started against the Bucks 28 times, 16-8. He's won 2/3 of those starts. ERA just over 4, and regained control for Vance Worley. Last year he was so good at not only throwing strikes but quality strikes, and he hasn't been as sharp so far this year through 6 starts. He had 3 walks last time, no strikeouts, plus leaving a lot of pitches out over the plate, and got hit pretty hard his last time out.
The Fanatic a little impatient with Aaron Harang's delayed entry, as I'm sure some folks in our television truck are as well. But the Fanatic understands, as we are overdue for the beginning of this baseball game. Aaron Harang, the veteran, not in any hurry, and a lot of that, and teams do their best to try to start games right on time, but a lot of it depends on the starting pitcher of the home team and when he actually leaves the bullpen and gets in the dugout and when he's ready to come out. His team has come out, and now Aaron finally decides to join the rest of us. Thank you.
A lot of it. I say about 95% of it is on the starting pitcher and when he feels like he's ready. Some get out there early, some take their time and get out there late, but it's pretty much up to the pitcher what time this game's going to start.
Pirates lineup is brought to you by Toyota. Polanco, Harrison, Walker, then Marte in the cleanup spot, Alvarez 5th, Jung Ho Gun batting 6th, and with men on, he's been good. And in scoring position, 308, 7 RBIs, 2 doubles. Mercer moves up a spot tonight. Stewart hits 8th, or today rather. Stewart hits 8th, and Vance Worley batting 9th against the veteran right-hander out of San Diego State, Aaron Harang.
Still getting it done. He doesn't throw as hard as he did once he was a Cincinnati Red, but he manages to get away with average stuff. The fastball averages about 89 miles per hour. He'll throw a cutter, he'll throw a slider, and a curveball, and an occasional changeup. Mixes and matches. He seems to get away with mistakes. Some deception in that fastball, that late movement. And he's been good so far as a Phil.
And behind Aaron Harang, the defense presented by Honda. Grady Sizemore making the start in right field. He started in game 1 Monday. Revere moves back to left. Herrera back in center field. Hernandez, Scalvis, Utley, and Howard around the infield. Cameron Rupp doing the catching. No Carlos Ruiz today. Gregory Polanco standing in as we get set to start this ball game. And the first pitch on the way is in for a strike. Gregory with a 266 average fouls this one back, finds himself in the hole. No balls and 2 strikes.
You see a couple of fastballs at 88 miles per hour, and you'll see he gets away with it. He'll miss over the plate, up.
Harang has been very good at home. Of his 7 prior starts, 3 of them have been here at Great American Ballpark. Not Great American Ballpark. I still think he's with the Reds. Citizens Bank Park. And that pitch outside. You know it's the middle of a road trip and you don't know where you are.
Yeah, we've been here a long time. Seems like.
And the 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. But I was saying, in 3 starts here in Philadelphia, Harang's ERA is 0.84. It's the lowest home earned run average. And a starter in the National League.
A 4-day trip, so you go into a city for 3, it seems like you're in and out. I don't even unpack the suitcase. 4, take it all out.
How about the time we went to Chicago and played the Cubs and the White Sox a few years ago?
I actually put clothes in the drawers.
Did you?
That particular trip. Yep. That was the cleanest room I've ever had.
2-2, popped up, back and out of play. Did you go out and get liners for the drawers and everything? Put a little nameplate outside the door with your name on it.
Went down to the laundry room. Did laundry about halfway through it.
So this will be the 9th pitch of the at-bat to Polanco. This one is up in the air, and it's drifting foul over the dugout. And off the dugout. Scramble is on.
Not exactly sure what that last pitch was. It was clocked at 84 miles per hour. Maybe a change. His changeup, 83, 84. He'll throw his cutter around 86. Not a lot of differences in speeds from his fastball, slider, changeup, curve.
2-2 in play to left field. Ben Revere coming on, and he will call off Galvis and make the catch.
Yeah, get some chases as well. That pitch well up out of the zone.
Well, not a bad at bat for Polanco if you look at it this way. 10 pitches.
Yeah.
First batter of the game and 10 pitches off the pitch count of Harang. Josh Harrison, the left fielder today. Starting to see a little more of that with Josh. In terms of moving around, he's made a couple of starts at second base. He's appeared in left field, but this is his first start out there this year. 1-0 pitch. And that is going to fall in front of Revere for a base hit.
Josh Harrison hopefully heading in the right direction, looking more confident. A big 3-run home run the other night certainly didn't hurt. That fastball up out over the plate off the end of the bat. Josh Harrison. A little soft serve in the left.
Josh has hit safely in 3 straight. Neil Walker batting in the 3 spot today with Andrew McCutchen off. Walker has hit safely in 8 straight. It is his second longest hitting streak of the season. He had a 10-gamer earlier. Takes ball 1. Andrew McCutchen off today. It is a scheduled day off. Clint Hurdle feeling that it would be good to have a rest day for him today, heading into 3 straight day games in Chicago. And the Pirates should get a little bit of rest next week with 2 days off. There is a 2-game series with the Minnesota Twins. That's the 2-2 this year. Each team has a 2 home, 2 road series with somebody, and it's the Pirates and Twins this year. But a day off before that series and a day off after that series, which is unusual. The pitchers don't mind those days off.
Well, bullpen guys, you wonder if the starting pitchers, you might have a starting pitcher go 6 or 7 days in between starts, and I'm sure they'd be chomping at the bit to get back out there. But the relievers especially, they appreciate the time off.
And Walker pulls this one foul. We actually have another 2-2 with an American League Central Division team, the Chicago White Sox. So that gives us 4 trips to Chicago this year.
That's a home and home, I believe, right?
It is. 2
at home and then right to Chicago.
Yeah. Used to be with the Tigers, we'd have that. Now it's a 3-game series with the Tigers this year. Home and 3 on the road. 1-2 to Walker, 1 out, 1 on, top of the first inning.
Yeah, at least a dozen balls thrown out of play in this half inning already. A ton of souvenirs for the fans.
Josh off of first, held on by Howard. And Walker fouls it off. Well, I hope they brought their gloves today in the stands.
Yeah. And again, deception, movement. A guy like Harang, you look at the stuff and think, how does he get away with it? Well, it's because he misses the barrel of the bat. Guys are just out in front, maybe a little behind, just over it, just under it.
Walker fouls this one straight back. He was on it, just missed it.
And that pitch up and out of the zone. And there must be something about his delivery and the flight path to home that makes that pitch up in the zone so inviting. Saw Polanco chase one about neck high that he popped in the left. Walker, that one was again about neck high.
This one's popped up right side. That should make the seats, and it does.
So that was the curveball, first curveball we've seen from Harang, and we saw an interesting stat on that. He's had exactly 0 swings and misses against that curveball this year. League hitting .444 against it.
That's a good nugget.
And we look at last year, they hit .212 against that curveball. .444 early on this year.
Walker hits this one well to left field. Revere circling behind it right in front of the track will make the catch. And he hustles and fires the ball back into second base. Harrison stays at first. There are 2 men out. Extended at bat for Walker. Harang will now face Starling Marte. Visits with his catcher Cameron Rupp. 21 pitches so far in the inning.
I guess that's just a breather for Harang after throwing 21 pitches.
And the Pirates have fouled off 13 pitches. Top of the first inning.
So if we play 9, we're on average to use over 12 dozen balls, or no, 18, 20 dozen balls just on foul balls alone. Dozen per half inning.
And they've got them all stacked up, waiting to be used. Marte fouls off the 14th pitch of the top of the first. And he takes a strike that time. No balls and 2 strikes. Harrison off of first. Harang ready. And Marte hits it down the left field line. That's going to roll toward the corner. Harrison around second, heading for third. And a double for Starling Marte. And with 2 outs, the Pirates have runners at second and third.
You hope that that ball would get to the wall. You got good speed in this outfield with the Philly, especially in center and in left field. Revere normally a center fielder. You have an average running left fielder out there, a good chance this ball gets down into the corner, in which case Harrison probably comes around and scores, but Revere able to cut that ball off some 15-20 feet in front of the wall, so J-Hay has to put on the brakes.
Well, 2 on and 2 out. 4th double of the year for Marte. And now Pedro at the plate. He's 1 for 11 against Harang. Takes a strike.
Maybe the best pitch he sees this at bat. Doesn't pull the trigger. There is first base open. I don't know if Pedro's going up there thinking whether or not he'll get pitched around against Harang, but ends up taking a pretty good pitch to hit.
Nothing in 2. Pedro did not start last night against the left-hander Cole Hamels. He started now 3 of the 4 games in this series. And a line drive right at Ryan Howard, and the Pirates leave 2 men on after getting 2 hits. Half inning in the books in Philadelphia. No score. First inning, the Phillies coming up. And their lineup written up by Ryan Sandberg. It's brought to you by Honda. Ben Revere leads off. Freddie Galvis, then Chase Utley, Ryan Howard batting cleanup. Switch hitter Cesar Hernandez, the third baseman, next. And Grady Sizemore, the right fielder. Last 6 games, hitting pretty well. .455, 5 out of 11. He's driven in 3. Odubel Herrera in center field. Cameron Rupp behind the plate. Orang batting 9th against the former Philly, Vance Worley.
Worley trying to improve on his last start. Back here in Philly, a team that gave up on him. He beat him last September. A 6-3 decision. And coming off an outing against the Cards. 5 innings, 9 hits, 5 earned runs. 3 walks, no strikeouts.
First pitch to Revere is outside for a ball.
And I think on top of that, a triple play was made behind him. He was in a jam. Second and third, nobody out.
Yeah, nothing like that. You know, that's always a good cure. You don't see him too often, but usually a very good cure. Walker and Jung Ho pulling off the first of its kind ever in Major League Baseball. The 4-5-4 double play. Well, a triple play. It was a double play, according to Jung Ho, and then he threw the ball after he was told back to second. Did I say double? Triple play. There's a ground ball toward Walker, and that is going to be no play as Revere is aboard.
Ball came up just a little bit at the end. When you go to the backhand, you want to catch the ball in the web. It comes up and catches them in the palm. It's one of those things, you know, if the ball stays down, Neil Walker makes that play. We've seen him make it over and over again. Good going to his right with a little off-balance throw, but when it comes up, gets you in the palm, doesn't stick.
For Walker, that is his first error this year. Galvis to right field, a base hit. Revere will stop at second, and the Phillies have set up shop in the bottom of the first inning. First and second, nobody out. Well, maybe he's setting up the triple play again, right?
Perhaps. I know this. I don't think you'll see another 4-5-4 triple play. That was just ferocious base running, especially the runner at third. Inexcusable to be caught off at third with nobody out on a line drive. Nowhere for you to go. You see the ball through the infield and go back to tag on anything in the air. I mean, that was some bad base running by the Cardinals, especially by Molina at third.
So Utley up with nobody out. And the first pitch is ball 1. Chase Utley has been having a difficult time this year for the Phillies to get started, hitting .123, just 13 hits, 106 at bats, only 1 double. And this one is a ripped foul past first base coach Juan Samuel. Stewart will go on and have a word. Didn't like the location of that last pitch.
Let's see if we get a double play. Again, back-to-back games with triple plays is a bit too much to ask. See if Vance can get a ground ball at somebody. By the way, it wasn't Molina. It was at third base. It was Molina was batting. Hit the line drive.
Hit the line drive.
Hayward was at second.
Peralta was at third.
Peralta was at third.
1-1. Blocked by Stewart. 2 balls and a strike.
And if you're wondering what ferocious means, it's like horrendous and atrocious. It's a combination.
How do you spell that?
That's like a special Carrick word. That's what we used when something was really, really bad. We threw out ferocious.
Ferocious.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, something new. They're learning. This one in the air, the center field. It is Marte coming on to make the catch. Out number one.
Augie DePaulo used to be a point guard in our pickup games, and he would go to the rim with a ferocious move almost every time we played. You know, ferocious, spinning around, crooked hook shots.
Ferocious.
Ferocious.
That's how you spell it. Right there, I think. I got Horocious.
We don't need to spell ferocious. Just see it, you know how to say it.
It'll be in next year's edition of Webster's Dictionary.
It's in the character dictionary.
Ryan Howard at the plate. Worley delivers. That's ball one. Howard could be a good guy to double up. Rounded into just one double play this year, but doesn't run exceptionally well. And there's a hot shot into right field past Walker. Revere will be held at third base. And we had to hold up a moment to see if Walker was going to get a chance to get after that. He wanted to make sure it went through into the outfield. So Howard with a base hit. That's the second hit of the inning for the Phillies, and they've got the bases full.
It wasn't hit all that hard, but it was on the line, so you want to make sure that it goes through. Revere crossed over, froze, saw it through, and with any kind of hesitation, no chance of scoring.
Well, Revere the runner at third base now with Galvis out at second, Howard at first, and the pitch to the switch hitting third baseman Cesar Hernandez is ball one. This may be the last day he starts at third base for the Phillies. They're expecting to call up Michael Franco tomorrow from AAA. And a strike call. Franco is a guy that we've seen the last couple of springs, more so this spring. And we saw him in September last year, but they feel that he is going to be their third baseman of the future, thus sending Cody Ashe back to AAA to learn how to play left field this week. Ashe was caught by surprise after Monday night's game. And the Phillies informed him. And it's been very difficult to replace that man right there, Hall of Famer Mike Schmidt.
It did for a little while. With Scott Rowland.
Scott Rowland, very good.
Did a heck of a job here.
Schmidt, 548 home runs. Club leader. It is 500th off of the Pirate, Don Robinson.
3-0 pitch.
Don is still unhappy about it.
Good time for a strikeout.
Payoff pitch to Hernandez. Whoa, ball four. And the Phillies with a 1-0 lead as Worley walks in the first run. Looked like it wasn't all that far away from Stewart's target, but appeared high.
Let's see what the WB Mason strike zone says. Yep, just above the letters.
Dale Scott, the crew chief, is the home plate umpire today. Grady Sizemore. Phillies right fielder. And a ground ball up the middle, and the Phillies will add on here. Galvis will score. 2-0. Sizemore with his 6th RBI. You notice the Phillies so far in the first inning very aggressive against Worley. A number of first ball swings.
Yeah, and they're not crushing the balls by any means. A weak ground ball. Revere had started this inning on the bat hop to Walker. This was off the end of the bat a little bit.
Not a horrible location. It finds a hole. The Galvis base hit wasn't hit all that hard, nor the Howard hit.
Phillies are almost at their per game average in runs, which is 3. They're the lowest scoring team in the majors. Odubel Herrera very late on that swing. But they've got 2 up on the board in the bottom of the first with 1 out and the bases full. Swing and a miss. Rule 5 pick from the Texas Rangers.
You have some pitches to waste. Another guy tough to double up. Good speed. And use these next pitch or two to try to get another chase.
Ryan Howard's over at third base. He would be anticipating the ball in the dirt, but it's got to be pretty far away from Stewart if Howard's going to attempt to score. Here's Howard. Second base, Hernandez. Brady Sizemore getting ready at first.
Just getting a piece. For Worley's against Worley, some I think pick it up a little better than others. Hides the ball well, really throws across his body a bunch. He stands on the third base side of the rubber, steps almost towards the on deck circle on the third base side. You know, his footprint, a good 1.5 feet away from where Harang lands.
Herrera, ground ball towards second base. Walker flips to Mercer. Double play.
Beautiful.
That is the 40th double play the Pirates have pulled off this season, most in the majors. The Walker to end the inning as the Pirates get the twin kill. 4-6-3 inning ending Chick-fil-A double play. Pirates have turned 7 double plays over the last 4 games plus today. And as I mentioned going to break, lead the major leagues with 40 double plays turned.
Good timing. That was about as good as a spicy deluxe with pepper jack.
Pickle or no pickle?
Extra pickle.
Extra pickle?
Yeah, he's tough to double up. I mean, you almost have to have a ball either rock hard, or exceptionally hard right at somebody, or a ball that's going to take you towards the middle. And that ball took Neil Walker towards the second base bag. An easy flip to Mercer.
Jung Ho Kang ground ball left side, snared by Hernandez. He spins and throws out Jung Ho. 1 out. One gone, and the batter will be Jordy Mercer. Pirates had traffic on the bases in the first inning. 2 hits, one from Harrison, one from Marte. Now in a 2-0 hole. Jordy went 1 for 4 last night. Had a very productive game on Saturday against the Cardinals. He drove in 3 at PNC Park. Behind in the count, a ball and 2 strikes. One and 2 the count. Harang ready. Jordy fights it off. Howard chasing. Won't get it.
And tied Jordy up. Jordy's such a good fastball hitter. Again, the deception of Harang. Harang tried to go up above the letters again. And left it on the inside part of the plate. About belt high.
One-two pitch. Down on strikes. There's Jordy Mercer, who becomes Harang's first strikeout victim this afternoon. The Bucks battle the Mets May 22nd on a Free Shirt Friday. Fun starts on Federal Street with live entertainment, food, games, and more at a Friday night block party presented by Barrel Automotive. First 20,000 fans receive a free Pirates t-shirt designed by A.J. Burnett. Compliments of People's Natural Gas. Pirates.com/Free Shirt Friday to get your tickets. A number of Pirates fans during this series here. There's a lot of black and gold in the stands. Normally we see red here. Most of it red. But it hasn't been that way this season. One to Stewart.
One thing coming here to this ballpark, you never saw blue. And nowadays you see a lot of blue. The seats are blue. And there's a lot of empty ones. They used to always be full.
Stewart strikes out. 1-2-3 go the Bucks. 2 men down on strikes. Easy inning for Aaron Harang. Phillies up 2-0. Photos the Pirates have snapped during their baseball career. Hear from Brewers coach John Shelby on what it's like when his team faces off against his own nephew Josh Harrison. There's plenty more, too, on Inside Pirates Baseball, presented by Allegheny Health Network. It debuts tomorrow after postgame on Root Sports. It was a weather day here today. 7,000 school kids in attendance. I don't think they're all surrendering, but they were all waving the white towels earlier.
Yeah.
There's Cameron Rupp, the catcher today, swing and a miss. A lot of times we see it. We see it in Pittsburgh, too. Where they'll do a weather day. One of the local television channels will bring their weather folks in and educate the kids on things about weather they didn't know. As much as you like weather, John, I'm surprised you haven't gone down and sat in on one of those sessions.
Well, it's loud enough. We could hear it from up here. Blaring 10 a.m.
Just what you want.
Yeah.
First thing when you get to the park. 0-2 to Rupp. Up in the air, foul right side. And that's in the seats.
Had the helicopter came in.
High chopper over the mound.
High chopper. We made some clouds. Had the weather truck.
Nothing in 2 to Rupp. Vance Wine's in the pitch. Outside. Rupp hitting 143. On the season, 5 for 35. Pitch drilled foul on the ground, wide of the bag at third. Well, if you were out in Oklahoma or something like that, would you be a storm chaser?
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, I think that would be the coolest thing ever. I mean, that was pretty cool when we went into Milwaukee earlier this year and flew just east of Chicago. And unfortunately, they had a tornado outside of the Chicago area. But, I mean, the clouds.
Oh, what a catch by Alvarez, taking a hit away from Rupp.
Well positioned. Good jump from Pedro. Pretty decent at bat from Rupp. Finding any luck right there is Pedro. Showing some range. Playing well off the line. Step and a jump.
Now Aaron Harang takes a pitch.
But when we're in the air and when we're in the air and there's a thunderstorm, obviously they'll fly around it. But the lightning and the height of some of these clouds, it's pretty impressive. And that day in Chicago, that was crazy looking.
Yeah, that was on our first road trip. We were going to Milwaukee and got diverted. Had to land in Chicago and then bus up to Milwaukee. And yeah, we got quite a light show outside the airplane. Comebacker. 2 out. Well, while we have a moment, I'd like to let you know that our Root Sports family grew a little larger today as one of our robo-operators at PNC Park. Jerome Nadio and his wife Jessica welcomed Emma Joyce into the world today. Jerome's father Dale also runs one of our robotic cameras back in Pittsburgh, but today he's a proud grandfather. So congratulations to Jerome and Jessica. And, of course, Grandpa Dale on the birth of Emma Joyce. I'm sure there will be photos when we're back Tuesday.
Congrats. Good stuff.
Top of the order, Ben Revere. 2 down. And the 1-0 pitch. Looks to bunt, bunts it foul, and it's 1-1. Revere reached on an error by Neil Walker. in the first inning. Walker's first error of the season and his first since September 13th. 45 straight games Walker played errorless baseball. I know you can relate. You've had in between a couple of stints in the minors, 99 straight errorless games at third base.
Yeah. The fear factor. Scared to death of making an error, going back to the minors.
Ooh. You still share that record with, was it Jeff Cirillo?
Yep.
Still a major league record.
Pretty close pitch. He tried that front door sinker that catches the inside corner. Worley does not get the call.
2-2. That is bounced past to Diamond Walker into center field. And Revere, who should have struck out, is on first base. Worley not happy.
Yeah, that's a one pitch too. I think pitchers especially don't want missed because the umpire's looking right over that part of the plate. They look over that inside corner, whether it be a lefty or a righty. And Dale Scott was looking right over that inside corner, did not get the call correct. And Worley certainly frustrated. I guess you get over it right away if you record the out when the guy gets a base hit. Not happy. So Worley has to tend with Freddie Galvis and the base running threat of Ben Revere at first.
Galvis 1 for 1. There goes Revere. Stewart's throw down to second is in plenty of time to get him. Chris Stewart guns down Ben Revere. Nothing across for the Phillies in the second.
Aaron Harang has been in the league over a decade here in Major League Baseball for a lot of different teams, and catcher Chris Stewart discussed how he has evolved through the years.
I just think he's smart out there. He knows how to pitch. He adds and subtracts with his fastball. Doesn't have devastating stuff, but he knows how to use it. He knows how to read hitters' swings, how to make the adjustment out there on the mound. Like you said, your guy doesn't stay around that long unless he knows what he's doing out there on the mound, and he's got a pretty good feel. It's our job to get him over the plate today and try to hit him hard.
It's his 14th year in big league baseball, and he's played for 8 different teams. And I think what Chris Stewart said, Rock, is a point you made in the first inning. All those different foul balls, 14 of them, all over the place. This guy knows how to use his stuff at an advanced baseball age.
Certainly does, and for the most part keeps it out of the middle of the plate.
1 ball, 1 strike pitch to his counterpart. That's Worley. Has a pair of hits on the year. 2 out of 10. One of those hits a double. Well, we mentioned 8 teams. Harang began with Oakland Had his big league debut in 2002 with the Athletics. Spent a bunch of years in Cincinnati. And went home 2011. He got to pitch in his hometown of San Diego, the Padres, for the Dodgers the year after that. He's also been with Seattle, the Mets, and Atlanta before coming to Philadelphia. And he strikes out Worley. That's 3 strikeouts in a row for Aaron Harang. More starts than any other active pitcher against the Pirates, 29. Next on that list would be his former teammate in Cincinnati, Johnny Cueto, who has started 28 games against the Pirates. I'm sure we'll see Johnny at some point for his 29th, perhaps his 30th this year. Strike to Gregory. Fly to left field in the first inning. And Polanco bounces it to the right side. Chase Utley on the outfield grass throws him out. 2 men out. Saturday, May 23rd, it's Josh Harrison bobblehead day at PNC Park. First 20,000 who come out to see the Pirates take on the Mets at 4:05. Receive a Josh Harrison bobblehead, courtesy of Allegheny Health Network. It's also another Eaton Park scratch and win Saturday. Everyone's a winner. For tickets, go to pirates.com. Josh will have his own Major League bobblehead soon. Hitting 188. He's 1 for 1 this afternoon. 2 strikes on it.
Probably the thing that, as the Pirates, the inconsistent offense, probably the thing you see more so than anything else is balls off the end of the bat. I think for the most part, teams have been pitching the Pirates away and just trying to get them to pull it. Harang, two-seamer, missing in. But, and that's where you start wondering about adjustments. When you're going to start hitting the ball hard in the opposite direction.
And
like
Josh has his second hit of the game. 2-out single for Harrison.
If you're up there, whether individual, mostly, you got to kind of grade it more individually than you would team-wise. But Jay Hay, when he's going good, is hitting the ball to all fields. Gets a pitch up, out over the plate, stays inside it. If you're up there, and we'll have, these teams all have charts and graphs, and they see guys rolling over, pulling the ball on the ground, not hitting the ball hard the other way, they're going to pitch you away. And until you make the adjustment, they're going to stay hard and soft away.
Comes the pitch to Walker. Swing and a miss. Harrison at first base. He's got his 7th multi-hit game of the season, his first since April 26th against Arizona.
For most, the hardest pitch to hit is outside corner at the knees because it's the furthest away from the hitter. Hard to stay on it. Hard to, you have to be pretty mechanically strong and to be able to put the barrel on that pitch consistently. And typically when you see guys struggle, that's what happens. They're not able to cover or drive the ball the other way when it's pitched away.
One to Walker with Harrison off first. 2 down. There goes Josh. Pitch inside for a ball. The throw is in tons of time to get it. Cameron Rupp, a good throw down to second. And the inning comes to a halt.
and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks!
Nice day here in Philadelphia. Temperatures in the upper 60s right now. Sunshine, but score's not right. 2-0 Phillies. Philadelphia batting in the bottom of the third inning. Shortstop Freddie Galvis takes ball 1 from Vance Worley. Galvis was at the plate when Revere was caught stealing to win the second. Good sharp throw by Chris Stewart to retire him. Pirates have now caught 15 base runners stealing this year. And Galvis, did he leave it out? Well, third base umpire Toby Basner said he didn't. Not down there for an appeal.
And both last 2 half innings, pretty good throws from catchers. And Jay Hay nabbed trying to steal a bag. Good throw by the Phillies catcher Rupp.
3-1.
When you have a catcher throwing down there to pop time, that's usually the time that from the time the ball hits the mitt until the ball gets to the middle infielder.
Walker's got it, and nobody there to cover. Well, Pedro took a step toward the baseball, and then he realized that didn't have to do that. Walker was going to make the play, and then Pedro never retreated to first.
And that's something you just have to get used to as a first baseman. You have to know where your second baseman is. Now, that's pretty much a routine grounder to second. And Pedro playing on the left side of the infield pretty much his entire life. He's used to chasing the ball. At first base, you got to get used to running away from the ball at times. And that is a routine grounder. No need to cross over or even flinch that way. And Pedro has to be at the bag.
Galvis ends up with a base hit out of that.
And in addition to that, anytime a catcher will always remind his pitcher any ball hit to the right side for the pitcher to get over. Worley, a right-handed pitcher, will fall off to that side, so you don't want to get in the habit of taking it for granted that the first baseman's going to be there, even though it was a routine grounder to second base. But you should always be in the habit of getting over as a pitcher when the ball's hit to that side. But I think the more you play over there, the more you communicate, the more you look as a first baseman to see where your second baseman is, especially with all the shifts. Sometimes they're playing over further. Sometimes they're more up the middle.
In the air to center, Marte under it. 1 out.
But you almost every pitch, take a look over there, see where your second baseman's playing, because it could change. You get 2 strikes on a hitter, you might set up a little differently defensively.
Barrel Automotive league leaders stat. Major league leaders in home runs allowed per 9 innings. The Nationals allowing the fewest. Cardinals right behind them. Pirates are third.
Pretty impressive stuff right there. That's a pretty good list. I was talking about Stewart and his pop time when the caught stealing of Revere back in the second. They say major league average pop time from the time it hits the catcher's mitt till it gets to second base is 2 seconds, about 2.0 flat. The pop time for Stewart on that throw to get Revere, 1.8. Right on the nose, 1.8. That's exceptional.
Yeah, really good. One out and one on. Foul ball for strike 2. 1-2 to Ryan Howard. Well, quickness is one thing. What about the accuracy?
Yeah, that all plays a part in it. Obviously, a very accurate throw from Stewart. But That'll shut down a running game. Both dugouts probably have a coach, at least one coach, doing the pop times. And you'll see it here from there to there. Pop time of 1.8, we're told. And I think a key to it, too, is where's Stewart set up as he catches it. That pitch is outside.
Runner goes. Stewart digs it out of the dirt, throws it down, and Galvis is there. The throw is on the other side of the bag.
And that's where the accuracy comes into play. A little tougher pitch for Stewart to handle there. Ends up throwing it to the third base side. If you miss on the first base side, a lot of times that throw will go into the runner, but he has to pick a curveball. And even still, picking a curveball gets rid of it quickly, just to the wrong side of the base. Told it was 1.9, still above average.
And Howard rips the 2-2 into right field. Galvis will be held at third base. Throw from Polanco comes in on a hop right up the third base line. And Ryan Howard is 2 for 2. And the steal of second allows Galvis to get to third base. So runners at the corners and 1 out.
Neil Walker's playing out there. There's a sinker that runs over the middle of the plate. Howard hits it hard. Walker's out there, but the ball was just hit too hard, too far to Walker's left. Again, the line drive off the bat of Howard had Galvis pausing. He had to freeze, make sure it was going to land safely before he took off for third. So Pete Buchanan, the third base coach, had to hold him up.
Still a double play chance. Cesar Hernandez walked with the bases full in the first. Played at the first run of the ball game. Strike to him. Now, interesting stuff, Rock, on the pop times and getting the ball down to second base. Stewart 1 out of 2 now in terms of getting opposing base runners. Galvis at third base waits. Pitch outside, 2-1. Hernandez looking out. Worley delivers. And for whatever reason, Vance Worley has thrown just 1 strike to Hernandez in 2 at-bats.
We talked about it a lot last year when Worley started making starts for the Pirates and how good his command was. A strike thrower, worked fast. 58 pitches, just 32 strikes, 26 balls.
Popped him up. Jordy Mercer calling for it, and Harrison calls him off and makes the catch. And that's the second out of the Philadelphia third.
It's a big out. Hernandez, good speed, gets it on the ground. Don't turn 2, produces a third run for the Phils. But the routine pop-up keeps the runner Galvis there at third. A chance to get out of the inning here for Vance Worley.
Worley will face Grady Sizemore, who ripped an RBI single to right off of him in the first inning. 2-0 Philadelphia. Bottom of the third, 2 out, 2 on. All in. And ball no strikes to Sizemore. The 13th time Sizemore has started this year. Short hop. Mercer not going to have a play. And the Phillies will get a run out of it. It's 3-0. Ball just ate up Jordy Mercer.
Yeah, in between hop. Jordy stays back on it, and he knows with the soft line drive that didn't have time to come in and charge it to get a short hop. Kind of hit too hard to even retreat. You just get back there and trust your hands and hope you can pick it clean. And like with the Walker error, the ball comes up, hits right off the heel of the glove.
You got a look on the Allegheny Health Network Supermo. Clint Hurdle had come up the dugout steps, and they were thinking about taking a peek at that play at second base to see if it was closer in favor of the Pirates than it appeared, but it was not. And Clint turned around and went right back down into the dugout. So Sizemore at first base with Ryan Howard over at second. Here's Odubel Herrera. Put into an inning-ending double play in the first. He takes a strike. So that's going to be it for Vance in terms of runs he's allowed to allow. Got to shut it down here. Hope the offense can pick it up. Again, we told you the offense for the Phillies this year averaging just about 3 runs a game. Lowest average in the majors. They have struggled to score.
Got some help got some help from the Pirates defense. 2 to 3 runs unearned against Vance.
Ground ball right side. Walker is there. And the Phillies add another run on 2 hits. They leave 2. Head of the 4th. 3-0 Phils. Highlighted by Max LaPierre, mic'd up for the Pens Game 2 win. In the Room debuts tomorrow at 6 o'clock on Root Sports. 3-0 Phillies leading the Pirates on the UPMC scoreboard. Top of the 4th inning with John Wehner and Robbie Ince-Mikowski. I'm Tim Neville. The Pirates need to find a way to get on the board. Vance Worley's given up 3 runs. And Pedro Alvarez play at first base that could have been made, but couldn't get over there. And that was a key that started it because that man ended up scoring. And the first ball hit into center field to Herrera for the out.
And for me, that, a couple of physical errors in this ball game have led to a couple of runs, and those are going to happen. That's a mental error as far as I'm concerned. That could be kind of that blame shared between Pedro and Vance Worley. They both should have been at the bat. That play needs to be made. It's a routine ground ball to second base.
Marte doubled in the first. And he singles here in the fourth. 2 for 2 for Starling.
Looking good. Good swing from Marte. Pitch up, out over the plate, takes advantage.
Marte continues to hit well in this park. Pedro Alvarez. 4 for 1. He lined out to Ryan Howard with runners at second and third in the first inning.
Another pitch elevated away to Pedro. Took a pitch with second and third, 2 outs in the first. It was about thigh high outside corner. And that one a little bit higher than that. Put in there for a strike.
Strike 2. Pedro again hitting in an 0-2 count as he was in the first inning. Ryan getting ahead.
Try to sneak one in.
There goes Marte, swing and a miss, throw down to second, and Starling is out. A strike him out, throw him out, double play. Ends the fourth. No runs a hit, that's it. 3-0 Philadelphia. Missed with this 0-2 pitch.
Not a great jump. You're down 3-0, and making outs on the bases when you're down 3 just doesn't look good. Another good strong throw from Rupp. Fastball, good pitch to handle for Rupp behind the plate. 2 good strong throws he's made to end innings.
He's thrown out Marte and also Harrison this afternoon. He will lead off in the Phillies' fourth.
By the way, pop time on that throw from Rupp, 2.0.
And he drops one into center field on the first pitch. I want to say that's the third first pitch base hit for the Phillies today.
Rupp having himself a day. And offensively, I think anything he does is a bonus as far as he's concerned. He's helped the Pirates, or helped his pitcher, Harang, hold the Pirates scoreless through 4. And catchers care more about their defense, the backup catchers, probably than their offense, and 2 caught stealings to boot.
All right, puts it in play. Walker covering. That'll be the 5th sacrifice bunt for Aaron Harang, and Rupp safe at second base now. You can tweet us, #BucksBooth, get you directly here. You can send us your questions and comments, observations, even photos. Point Park University tweets. Again, you can get us with the #BucksBooth. Look at some of those later in the game. Up the runner at second base, 1 out. Ben Revere, the hitter. Revere reached on an error by Neil Walker in the first. The base hit was caught stealing by Stewart in the second. 2 balls and no strikes to Revere. That's outside. Looks like they're staying away from him. 2 pitches way outside, the last 2. Surge keeping an eye on everything. He always does. But it was a strike that time, 3-1. Vance comes back and fills up the count.
A little backdoor slider.
Galvis on deck. Up off of second base, 3-2. Revere pops it up. Shallow left field. And Josh Harrison makes the play. 2 out.
Probably almost feels like a day off when you have an infielder, Josh, for the most part, playing every day at third base, and then you go into the outfield, a little less stressful, more relaxing out there. Basically only at the 10 with a few lazy fly balls. Not rockets top spinning at you from 90 feet away.
Your shifts are a lot easier too.
Yeah, don't have to move around as much.
The ball that can give you the most trouble, though, I think, is off the left-handed bat. That's slicing away from you toward the line.
I think the difference is it's almost like the difference between doing radio and TV. You know, radio's like left field. TV's like third base.
Well, for you. Yeah, you're right. Rock on radio, actually, it's like being the DH for Rock.
Oh, not just for me. Ask Bob and Steve. They'll tell you the same thing.
That's why Bob really doesn't want to ban the DH, because it's like a day of DHing when he's on the radio. (2-1) to Galvis. That hits the bag. And Pedro picks it up with a bare hand, and Galvis is safe. Boy, that ball had a lot of English.
Well, that's a break for the Pirates, because if it goes in the right field, doesn't hit the bag, obviously Rupp is going to be able to score easily. Vance Worley once again not there. Kind of watching. See, doesn't break. I'm not certain that Galvis would have been out, but certainly not going to be out if you have nobody covering the bag. Rupp has to hold up once the ball hits the bag and stays in the infield. And Pedro, nothing else he could do. No one to throw it to.
First and third, 2 down for Chase Utley, who has flied to center field twice. Utley continues to hit in that 3-hole, even though he hasn't been as productive. The RBIs are there. Got 15 of them right now, but the hits aren't. And you got to wonder what he's talking to Dale Scott about. It was a ball. And Utley looks like he's not happy with something.
He's close to hitting. I don't know if maybe he thought maybe it got a piece of him, but. You see that second pitch was way inside.
Two and one to Chase Utley. So Scott peeking over that inside corner. Strike 2 to Utley. 2 balls, 2 strikes to the second baseman for Philadelphia.
You see some swings from Chase Utley, and you're obviously struggling mightily. A huge hole to dig out of, hitting just 120. I've seen a number of bats where he's really exaggerating to keep that head down in contact. And that's one thing about hitting. If that head doesn't stay still, you're going to have a hard time having success. And there are some swings where Utley, after even through the swing, his head's still down.
Right to Alvarez, knocks it down, ends the inning. Phillies will strand 2. They get 2 hits. On to the 5th inning. Pirates down 3-zip.
But he's taken his memorabilia thing to a whole different level. Now, he does have the ball from his first hit, first homer, and first RBI in Major League Baseball, but he's also kept his first broken bat and lineup cards from his first hit, homer, and RBI, and a few more. Now, Clint Hurdle mentioned that Gung has the lineup card from a couple nights ago. Why, do you ask? It was the first time he's been hit by a pitch in a big league game. Hurdle was asked how many lineup cards he's given Jung Ho, and his answer was, I lost count. We're only 34 games into a season now, so who knows how many lineup cards he'll be taking with him back to South Korea after the season, Tim and John.
Might have to buy another case just to ship them back. Maybe that one goes home with him. We'll see. He has to start the offense going. He's 0 for 1. 1-1 pitch. Swinging a foul back. I know Jung Ho's been working hard on his English. I ran into him in the elevator the other day. It was he and I wanted to say something in Korean. Of course, I don't know Korean, so I learned how to say hi finally. And there he is, plunked by a pitch. Well, Robbie, you've been investigating the English lessons.
I actually have, and it's progressed really well. He spends about an hour each night back in Pittsburgh. He has a separate tutor back in Pittsburgh to teach him English, and obviously he has H.K. Kim as interpreter helping with things here on the road when he's with him. But he's been studying really, really hard. And he was able to tell me about the last off day. He said he walked through H.K. Kim right there. His interpreter travels with him and also lives with him in Pittsburgh, Tim.
Well, this one in the air to right field. Sizemore will grab it. And there is one out.
So we were talking about his last off day, and I tried to have a conversation in English with him, how it went. He said, very good. He said he walked. He said, Pittsburgh, real nice to walk, but to drive, not so much. And I taught him a new word, bumpy, discussing the roads in Pittsburgh when he tried to drive through them.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. I cannot imagine being from another land, knowing nothing about it really, and being dropped off. And it wouldn't be easy to do.
No. Now, to say hello in Korean, John, you have to say Anya Haseyo.
A nod of the head will do, Tim.
In any language, that worked.
Yep.
Stewart checked his swing. No, he didn't. Rung up by C.B. Buckner with a strike. But I did hear Jung Ho get on the bus this morning and say to his teammates in the back of the bus, clear as a bell, good morning, gentlemen. And Stewart swinging miss. Yeah, but imagine if the roles were reversed. If sometime during your career you got an offer to play in Seoul.
Yeah, I mean, that would be difficult. I'm sure people, everyday life, get transferred in their jobs overseas and get thrown into a city or country that they don't speak the language.
Stewart, a ground ball. That is toward the middle. Great play by Utley. And they don't get the double play, but they do get Jung Ho Kang in the middle on a super play by Chase Utley, taking a single away from Stewart.
He's always been a very solid defensive second baseman, and boy, that's a heck of a play right there. Once he stops it, I don't think he has a play. I'm figuring, well, he just keeps the ball from center field, but watch how quickly gets it out of the glove, gets a grip, the backhand flip, and right on the money to Galvis. Obviously with the Allegheny Supermo, didn't look as quick as it was in real time, but you saw a great play there from Chase Utley.
Steve Lombardozzi will pinch hit for Vance Worley. So Worley's afternoon comes to a conclusion after just 4 innings. It's going to be a day for the bullpen now. 1 to Lombardozzi. It's inside 1-1. He was thrown out at the plate for the game's final out last night. Jeff Francoeur gunned him down from right field. And that earned the save, the 113th save for Jonathan Papelbon. He is now the franchise leader in saves. But that double play at the end of the game last night also was the same way that Papelbon got his first save as a Philly. Rodimus Lee's warming up. And with his saves in Boston, just one of them ended that way. But a game-ending double play. Lombardozzi gunned out by Jeff Francoeur at the plate. It was the 123rd outfield assist for Francoeur. He's third all-time, not third all-time, third active, behind Carlos Beltran and Torrey Hunter. And Lombardozzi rips this one foul. Hey, think about this, Ron. Beltran 135 outfield assists, Torrey Hunter 125, Francoeur 123. Francoeur has played 11 seasons, 18 seasons each for Beltran and Hunter. Strike 3 on the inside corner. Lombardozzi, pinch hitter, goes down on strikes.
Sports is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network. Health for all. By Kenny Ross, Ask a Neighbor. And by Levin Mattress, located in all Levin furniture showrooms and freestanding stores. Let's go Bucks!
3-0 Phillies leading the Pirates, going to the bottom of the 5th. Take a look at this Point Park University tweet. It's for you, Rock. John, what is your favorite souvenir from your playing days?
Oh, hard to pick a favorite. There's a lot of things. I mean, World Series trophy, World Series ring, a couple bats signed from the World Series, engraved bats with everybody's name on it.
Howard swings and hits it deep to right field. It is gone. The first pitch by Rodimus Lees ends up in the seats. It's 4-0 Philadelphia. Ryan Howard having a day. He's 3 for 3. His 7th home run.
He doesn't have to get all of it. Not in this ballpark. Big, strong. It was a first pitch fastball up, out over the plate. Towering drive. And the short porch and right.
And a ground ball on the first pitch by Hernandez. He goes to first and he is out. Very close play. Ryan Sandberg wants to have a word. The Phillies are going to take a look at this and they might challenge. And Hernandez got down the line in an awful hurry. C.B. Buckner, the call of out. Let's take a look.
Looks like it just did get him, but a bit of a scare. Speed of the game. I mean, he was getting after it. Down the line very quickly, and Jordy Mercer came up, got set, and that strong arm just in time.
One out for Grady Sizemore. Sizemore 1 for 2. Base hit with an RBI in the first. Reached on an error in the third. Error by Mercer. Walker to a knee. 2 down. Well, you talk about replay, Rock, and when you look at it, the plays in the field, they are doing their best to get things right. And it's something that just didn't happen in the game years ago. But the one thing that hasn't changed, balls and strikes. And I think with replay and getting plays right and having calls overturned, I think some of those borderline calls at the plate, some that are not borderline, they're just bad calls one way or another, they get magnified, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they do. I think it's a tough thing to do, calling balls and strikes. I'm sure both the catcher and an umpire could be back there, and there'd be a pitch just off or on the plate, and they can argue till the end of the game that it was a ball or a strike.
Herrera yanks this one to right field. That'll be played on a hop by Polanco. He fires to second base, and Herrera sliding with nobody covering, and he's in for a double.
Unless they want to put a robot behind home plate, you're going to have disagreements. They're going to see over 200 pitches a day. They're not going to get them all right. Polanco gets over there, cuts it off before he gets to the wall. He puts on the brakes, tries to get off a good, strong throw, but he had no momentum behind the throw. Herrera, you got to tip your cap, thinking double all the way.
Double number 7. And the Pirates are going to put Darren Rupp on with first base open to pitch to Aaron Harang. An intentional walk. Rupp 1 for 2 this afternoon. Yeah, I don't think anybody wants robots back there. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm guessing there's probably a fraction of fans who do, but at the same time, the human element in the game, these guys make mistakes, and now for the umpires, they've got a way to get calls right, with the exception of still a few things that just aren't touchable by replay.
And I like the idea of I mean, the replay, there's nothing wrong with replay. I mean, at first I was against it, but now all of a sudden the replay's here to stay, and you're getting the calls right. But I miss a manager running out of the dugout to argue a call and fire up his teammates or defend one of his players. But I understand why it's here, and agree that especially the more important games, better off with the right call than through replay than to lose a game or a series or a milestone because of it.
Did he go? They want an appeal, and C.B. Buckner says he didn't go.
And Bob was saying earlier during lunch that he thinks at some point in time that balls and strikes will be controlled somehow.
Well, Bob's the idea man. He'll come up with the way to do it.
Well, I'm sure they could find a way to do it. But I know this, umpires are good. Major League umpires are good. And they've always been pretty good. And they get it right most of the time.
Such a different job in baseball officiating than in any other sport. It's every day for the most part.
And there's literally hundreds of decisions to be made every day. Hundreds and hundreds of calls each and every game.
The stretch by Lees. Runners off first and second. 3-1 to Aaron Harang. Swing and a miss.
Chase ball 4. And umpires travel nonstop, live out of a suitcase, hotel to hotel, city to city.
No home games for those guys.
Nope.
Payoff pitch. And Harang strikes out. The runners on the move. 1 run on the home run by Ryan Howard. 4-0 Philadelphia. For 5 with a home run, 5 runs scored against the Cubs at Wrigley. The only time in his career he's had a 5-hit game, or a game in which he scored 5 times. Garrett Jones also had 5 hits and a home run, and the Pirates' 10-6 win over Chicago. So the Pirates will be headed in a little while. Start a series tomorrow afternoon with the Cubs. 4 runs on 10 hits for the Phillies. No runs, 4 hits, and 2 errors for the Pirates this afternoon. Aaron Harang will face the top of the order, Gregory Polanco. Last night, Pirates losing the third game after taking the first two. 3-2. They just couldn't find a way to solve Cole Hamels, Ken Giles, and Jonathan Papelbon. But that's a tough one. You figure you come in here, you can get 3 out of 4.
Yeah, and hopefully third time through get something going, but not a good start here in the 6th.
Well, maybe so.
Take it.
Take it any way you get it right now with a base runner. So an error on Galvis. And Polanco is aboard.
Just a little tapper. It's an easy play for a shortstop, but somehow in the exchange from glove to hand, loses the handle. And all his momentum going towards first base. Had time to make the throw. See if the Pirates can capitalize.
Strike on the corner.
I think we'd rather have a row button. I think Jay Hay would rather have a row button as well on that particular pitch. Looked to be off the plate away.
Might have been on the corner of the left-hand batter's box. Yeah, it was. It was way outside. And Jay Hay pops it up. 1 out. It just changes everything dramatically. 1-0 instead of 0-1. You'd rather be 1-0 instead of hitting with a strike on you. But either way, Harrison pops up and there's 1 out in the Pirates' 6th. Pitch outside. I know, just talking about the umpires, Major League Baseball goes to great lengths to supervise, monitor, train, inform, communicate with the umpires on a daily basis. There was a controversial call in a game, close call in a game. They'll go over all of the replays that were overturned and not. They work hard at it.
Yep.
3 balls, no strikes to Neil Walker. Neil's 0 for 2. He had an 8-game hitting streak going. Fly to center last time up in the 4th inning. Fly to left field in the 1st. Three and one.
Well, Neil Walker is certainly capable of cutting that lead in half with one swing of the bat.
And he pulls it down to Howard. Galvis back to first. 3-6-3. And the Pirates are done in the 6th. Aaron Harang helped out by the double play. one of the Pirates' hidden mechanics. See how Benedict's work behind the scenes fixing pitchers is a major reason for the team's depth on the mound. Inside Pirates Baseball, hidden mechanic debuts Tuesday after postgame on Root Sports. 4 runs, 10 hits and an error for Philadelphia. No runs, 4 hits, 2 errors for the Pirates. And Ben Revere, top of the order, leading off in the 6th. Adamus Lees delivering. Ball 1, 1 ball and 1 strike to Revere. Revere hitting 254. Today he's got 1 hit, reached on an error. And fly to left field in the 4th inning. Ball at 2 strikes. Lees, who was greeted with the first pitch he threw by Ryan Howard. Howard putting it over the right field wall for his 7th home run. It was in the 5th. Lees has been scored upon twice over his last 5 appearances. Lees went a long time between major league wins. He got the win on the 23rd of April. His last win before that was September 14th, 2008, while with Baltimore. We talked about Phillies pitcher in game 1 of this one. There's a ground ball to short. Mercer throws him out. In game 2, Sean O'Sullivan. It's been 4 years between wins for him. That's nothing compared to Lees.
4 to the day.
Yeah.
Still looking for a win. Sullivan.
Well, batter for Philadelphia, Freddie Galvis. 3 for 3. One of his better days. He has scored twice, stolen a base. And I think when you are trying to look at this team in spring training, trying to look ahead and project how this team would do, I don't think anybody had Freddie Galvis being their brightest spot offensively.
No.
Highest average at 336. And this one is going to be a foul ball. Sandberg, originally a Philly, and of course better known as the Cubs second baseman, so many years, Hall of Fame career. Larry Boa there next to him. Boa, former Philly manager and shortstop. And Galvis is aboard for the 4th time.
Had base runners, a lot of base runners. It's fortunate. I think the Pirates are down only 4-0 and 10 hits. A couple of guys have reached on errors. 3rd walk.
Lees the stretch and the pitch coming to Chase Utley. Throw to first base beforehand, and Galvis back. Utley is 0 for his last 9. He has 2 hits in this series.
I mean, guys go through slumps. This guy Utley is one of the Phillies' great players. I mean, this slump that he's in, I mean, a 119 average, 109 at-bats into a season. That's a Big hill to climb. You see him tracking the ball there again. I think he's exaggerating a bit, really trying to see the ball as long as he can.
I looked at a couple of numbers the other night just for comparison's sake. Chase Utley, 13 hits, 109 at bats. Just randomly, Jung Ho Gung in 56 at bats has 17 hits. More hits and half the at bats. And Howard on deck. Howard and Galvis, the big days, each with 3 hit ball games. And the pitch, Utley fouls it off. The home run. There's been 2 home runs in this series, but of the 35 games, plus this one today, so the 36 games the Phillies have played, they have not hit a home run in 20 of them. And that's also a low mark in Major League Baseball. Right, a 4-0 lead today as Utley fouls it back again. Herrera, the center fielder, he ended up with a double last time up. An interesting season for the Rule 5 pick so far. Sometimes guys who are Rule 5 picks, maybe a pitcher that might bury him in the bullpen for the season. But Herrera, his first major league home run the other night.
Definitely holding his own. Good defense. Great speed.
Runner goes. A ball hit to Walker. They'll get the one at second base. Mercer back to first. That's good for a double play. Second one the Pirates have pulled off in the game. Pirates looking to get some runs as we go to the 7th.
Mets. Well, tomorrow night, if you go to Altoona, that man will have a bobblehead, Starling Marte. It's a creative one. It's the Marte Parte bobblehead, complete with the curved party hat. He's holding a cake and a present. Good stuff by Mike Passanisi and the rest of the guys out there in Curve, Pennsylvania. The first 1,500 fans to go through the stands at People's Natural Gas Stadiums will get a Marte Parte bobblehead. As if that's not cool enough, 2 weeks after that, they have the Tony Watson Elementary bobblehead with Watson dressed as Sherlock Holmes wearing a curved uniform, holding the magnifying glass and everything. Creative stuff coming out from our friends at AA.
Nothing AA about that. That's great.
Yeah, folks in Altoona have always been extremely creative. Good time.
And always a good opportunity to celebrate players who have passed through that level.
Well, they've had a ton of great players pass through Altoona in recent years.
Marte, one of them. He's 2 for 2 today. Single double. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Late reaction from Marte as Alvarez hopes to get in the box with a runner on.
And the pitch. Marte fouls it back. When are they going to have player coach bobblehead night?
They should never do that.
For John Wehner.
There would be no reason for that. It would not attract a single additional fan. McCutchen through Altoona. Alvarez. And think of what they have there now. I mean, I guarantee you they're drawing fans when Glasnow takes the hill in Atlanta. Great pitching staff they have there now. Jay Hay, Garrett Cole.
1-2 pitch. And Marte strikes out. Ball gets away, but Rupp will throw it down first. So strikeout 2-3 the put out. Let's go back to an Altoona guy. Rob King in the studio with the State Farm game break. See, I told you. I told you, Rock.
Patronizing.
Player coach bobblehead. One 1-0 to Pedro. How would you depict that, though?
You wouldn't.
If you were going to, how would you do it?
You wouldn't.
Brock wants no part of this.
Nothing. For some reason, a meeting on the mound as Harang falls behind 2-0.
That's outside. 3-0. 1 out, base is empty. Pirates half of the 7th inning. Aaron Harang still going. 91 pitches for the veteran righty. And walks Pedro in 4 pitches. Let's take a look now at our Allegheny Health Network injury update. Has to do with the Cardinals. John Jay has been placed on the 15-day disabled list. Tendonitis in his left wrist will keep him out for the next couple of weeks. The Cardinals have called up Xavier Scruggs to take his spot. 30 games this season, 248. He's had some big hits against the Pirates. John Jay is out. And Jung-Ho Gung takes a strike. And Rob reporting that Matt Carpenter hits a 2-run home run late. It had been all Cleveland until late in that ball game, and Carpenter hit a 2-run shot to give the Cardinals a lead. And Gung down to third. Utley, Howard around the horn. And the second straight inning ends in a double play. It is stretch time in Philadelphia. Ryan Howard brought the lumber. First pitch he saw from Rodimus Lees in the 6th inning. Home run number 7. That gave the Phillies a 4-0 lead. And Howard will lead off in the bottom of the 7th inning. Howard, Hernandez, and Sizemore. Pirates being out hit 10-4. And once you won those first 2 games, Rock, you're starting to think, boy, you can get this series. This is a series you got to win on the road. And a split is probably not good enough.
I mean, certainly, yeah. You're not happy if you can't come back in this ball game. The Pirates certainly aren't going to be happy. I mean, obviously, when you face a guy like Cole Hamels, and Harang's been throwing the ball well, including today, you know it's not going to be easy to score a bunch of runs against 2 veteran pitchers that have done well for quite some time. But still, you leave here with a bad taste in your mouth. You have to be frustrated. This one of the sloppier games the Pirates have played this year. And still got 6 outs to go if you can hold them to this 4-run lead. But certainly the work's cut out. You know, you're going to face, looks like Harang in the top of the 8th. But yeah, there's not a whole lot going on offensively. Really, you look at the whole series, again, not a whole lot going on offensively. This offense, despite the fact that they've scored 7 the one night, 4 and then 2, 13 runs the first 3 games, it wasn't like they were knocking cover off the ball. In fact, all those runs came off of 6 pitches. You know, we had the 2 big 3-run home runs, a sac fly, and 2 2-run base hits. And so it's not like, you know, we've been bunching hits together or knocking the ball from gap to gap. I mean, we're advantageous in a sense that you had some big hits at the right time. But you think about it, just 6 pitches have resulted in runs in a 4-game series thus far. And, you know, again, you do have to tip your cap to the opposing pitchers to an extent. And then there's some part of it to where you as an individual have to make adjustments as a hitter and figure out a way. This offense continues to struggle, and a guy like Cole Hamels, yeah, that's tough going. Aaron Harang, when he's on, is tough, but not a lot going on offensively.
Stewart might have been caught with a backswing there.
Appears to be okay.
Looks like Hernandez got him.
Bare hand, looks like.
2-ball, 2-strike pitch. Bounce it to Walker. It's the 2nd out of the inning. Point Park University tweets, with Marte becoming reliable with his bat once again, do you think he will ever be moved back to the leadoff spot?
No chance. I don't think it'll. I'm not going to say it's never going to happen. It'll never happen permanently. It may happen because of perhaps injury or something like that. You need some speed up there, and maybe you move him up there just to get him going. I'm not going to sit here and say it's never going to happen, but I doubt that it's going to happen.
Well, C.B. Buckner called this one a foul ball. Grady Sizemore pointed to the bag, saying it was over the bag, and now Ryan Sandberg wants to come out and have a chat with the first base umpire, and the Phillies might challenge this. Well, actually, it's in front of the umpire, so you can't challenge this if it's in front of the umpire. Behind them, you can. So all that Ryan Sandberg can do is have a conversation about it. The call was foul, and that'll stand.
Pretty close. Really close.
So it'll go as a strike for Sizemore.
back to the Marte thing. They've never really. I mean, you think of a guy that they call it a strike.
They did, yes. 2 tough strikes.
Both
on
umpires.
Sizemore.
Both umpires getting under Sizemore's skin. Can we make it 3 umpires? No. Have Dale Scott ring him up on a pitch outside the zone. That'd be a trifecta. But Marte, obviously, good power. I think he likes batting in the middle. I think he likes the drive-in runs. 24 RBIs to date. He's not really an on-base guy. It's not like he's going to draw a ton of walks.
And there you go. Dale Scott rings him up. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Rodimus leaves. Head to the 8th. Pirates down 4-0.
Retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Follow the Pirates all season in 2015 with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or tablet. Aaron Harang starting the 8th inning, facing Jordy Mercer. Strike delivered. Mercer 0 for 2. Struck out on the 2nd, fly to right in the 5th. 1-1 to Jordy. Swing and a miss. Rupp set up inside, and that's where the pitch went.
Yeah, look at that, the strike zone, UPMC Sports Medicine strike zone. You know, everything on the edge. Top of the zone, bottom of the zone, inside corner, outside corner.
Outside again this time, and the count goes full, 3-2. Action in the pen as Ken Giles readies himself for Philadelphia. And Mercer to right center field. Herrera on the run. He'll make the catch. 1 out. Odubel Herrera. Harang will now face Chris Stewart, the number 8 hitter. And then a pinch hitter, Corey Hart, after that. Strike to Stewart. Oh for 2. Stewart has hit in 5 straight games. In fact, in the 7 games that he has started prior to today, the Pirates are 6-1 in those games. Today, the bat's just not going against Harang.
And again, you do tip your cap to an extent. He's kept the ball on the edges. He's changed speeds. He's elevated. He's stayed down. And, your Pirates club have enough weapons to score runs. And you wouldn't expect Aaron Harang to be shutting you out through 8. He's again working just off or just on the plate.
And hard in the on-deck circle. Have an opportunity to hit. 3-2 ground ball, and that is snared by Hernandez. 2 men out for the Pirates in the 8th. Our Nissan road ahead. Pirates will jet out of Philadelphia over to Chicago after the ball game today. And then tomorrow, coverage begins at 1:30 on Root Sports. Left-hander Jeff Locke faces right-hander Kyle Hendricks. Then on Saturday, the first meeting of the season between the Pirates and John Lester. Garrett Cole looking for his 6th win. A.J. Burnett and Jake Arrieta on Sunday afternoon. So a couple of really solid pitching matchups. Arrieta might be one of the more underrated pitchers that's out there right now.
Yeah, he's solid. It doesn't get any easier going into Chicago. Might have some favorable conditions. Supposed to warm up over the weekend, which usually means the wind blows out. But still, not an easy trio to face.
Jeff's been preparing for his start for a couple of days. Corey Hart, a ground ball that hits the first base bag, and a definition of a base hit.
A squibbler off the end of the bat with a lot of spin. And usually when a right-hander does this and you're frustrated it doesn't go foul. Well, this one starts out foul. It comes back into fair ground, and a break for Corey Hart. One that he's needed is would have been an easy play for Ryan Howard if it hadn't hit the bag.
This is the second ball we've seen hit first base in the game. Might go weeks and weeks without seeing one, never mind 2. Well, Ryan Sandberg has called timeout. He wants to go visit with a veteran, and because of the veteran status of Aaron Harang, he'll let him make the decision at this point. 110 pitches. Sandberg wanted to see how he was. You know, Giles is ready in the pen at any time. Harang with 2 outs. He wants to finish this 8th inning. Facing Gregory Polanco, who is 0 for 3. Polanco reached base in the 6th on an error by the shortstop Freddie Galvis. Other than that, he has grounded to second and flied to left. And he ropes one to right field and right at the chest of Grady Sizemore. No runs, a hit, a man left. We go to the bottom of the 8th at Citizens Bank Park. getting high fives. They got a standing ovation behind the first base dugout as he comes out after 8 innings of shutout baseball. He scattered 5 hits.
And the location was key. Good curveball there. He had the changeup running in off the plate. He got a call on his mound opponent. Went upstairs against Alvarez. Good two-seamer there to Lombardozzi. Got Marte to chase. I mean, he didn't have to throw many pitches over the plate. I mean, he kept it on the edges, kept it just off, just on, had the good movement. And when you get ahead, you can just expand. And he did a great job of that. Pretty quiet day for the Pirates offensively.
Left-hander Bobby LaFramboise. That's his first appearance with the Bucs this season. Being called up to take the spot of Antonio Bastardo, who is on the paternity list. Bastardo expecting to rejoin the club in Chicago. Well, Bobby will get an appearance here. Last year got into 6 games. And Herrera fouls this one back.
Like he tried to hit home run number 2. Big cut off the lefty LaFramboise.
Bobby out of Downey, California. 0-1 pitch. Fouled back. When he was told he was coming to the big leagues, John, you know, the AAA manager Dean Traynor always plays tricks on guys and tries to get a reaction out of them, but Bobby told me he was tipped off by the pitching coach Tom Filer before the game. So when the AAA manager tried to tell him he's going up and had this whole thing rehearsed, Bobby spoiled it. He goes, "Yeah, I know." And there goes Herrera out on strikes. So LaFramboise strikes out Odubel Herrera. You can make it a family day at PNC Park Sunday, May 24th, when the Pirates take on the Mets at 1:35. Kids 14 and younger get a Garrett Cole replica camo jersey, courtesy of Chevrolet. Get to the #1 Cochran Family Fun Zone on Federal Street before the game. Afterwards, kids run the bases. Compliments of the original pizza logs. For tickets, go to pirates.com. Garrett Cole replica camo jerseys. That's certainly one you want to have. Kids will get to wear them to school before school's out.
Lots of great giveaways.
1-0 to Cameron Rupp. Rope to left field. That'll go to the corner. Rupp's had himself a pretty good day. That'll be his 2nd hit, 3rd time he's reached base, and his 1st double of the season.
Came into the season just 5 for 35. Base hit back in the 4th inning. Gets a pitch here off the end of the bat a little bit, but rips it down the line. It's 2 for 3, an intentional walk, and he's thrown out 2 batters. And his pitcher, he'll probably take the most pride that his pitcher threw 8 shutout innings.
We're up at second base, 1 man out, and the pinch hitter for Aaron Harang will be Jeff Francoeur. Francoeur started the middle 2 games of this 4-game set, coming off the bench this afternoon. Looks at one outside. Ball 1 to Francoeur. Hitting just .210 for 29 games this season. And the 1-0 from LaFramboise. 1-1. Pitch in the dirt.
So did you hear if Traynor got to play his tricks on Bobby this time?
Oh, that was this time.
Oh, that was this time.
That was this time.
Oh, I thought that was from last year.
Oh, no. Last year, different.
That was this year. Oh, see, that's no fair. That's no fun.
Two 1 pitch. There's a strike call. They got Lombardozzi. Right after the game, he called everybody in, acted mad, called everybody into the clubhouse. And so everybody in there, sit down. He said, Lombardozzi's going to the big leagues. Here's a ground ball snared by Gunn. Throws to first, and he got him. Frank Gore not happy. He's begging his manager to come out. Jeff thought he was safe.
Well, from here, it looked like he was out. Frank Gore seems certain he's not going anywhere. He's standing on the bag. Nice little 360 by Gunn. Good strong throw. Had to get rid of it. And, I think he got him.
Sandberg looks like he wants to challenge it, though. This will give us a look on the Allegheny Health Network Supermo. Out. He got him. He's out. Phillies are going to challenge, though. Ryne Sandberg wants to have a look at it in New York. And they are slowing it down on the big screen in left field. They're going back and forth, shuttling it. Same angle we just showed you. That's why there hasn't been much of a reaction from the crowd.
No.
This review probably won't take too long. Looking at it a few times in New York. This is one of the things about replay that has changed the way you watch a game, especially when it's the third out of an inning.
Yep.
And the call will be upheld. And Ryne Sandberg up on a warning path, and he's. If he's talking about this, he's not supposed to do this. He's not happy. And that's supposed to be automatic. That if the manager argues a call that goes against him on a challenge, it's supposed to be an automatic ejection.
That was strange.
It's not like he came out and got in the face of one of the umpires, but that's a little bit odd. You don't see that a lot. Two men out, man at second base, and Ben Revere hits one off the end of the bat foul.
Maybe he was arguing, well, if you'd have called him safe, they wouldn't have overturned it. You know, I don't know. I don't get what he could have been arguing about. C.B. Buckner, as most first base uppers, I think the umpires are better at first than anywhere else. They get those right 99.9% of the time.
And they call officially standing, meaning there was no video evidence available to overturn it that was clear and concise.
And I think if he was ruled safe, I thought there was enough evidence to suggest that he would have been ruled out. And you see that ball coming under the feet of Revere.
1 ball, 1 strike pitch to Revere. Wave and a miss. I want to correct something I said earlier. My apologies to Stan Kiles. I think I said Tom Fuller, who was the pitching coach in Indy last year. Stan Kiles is there this year.
I think that's why I thought you meant. I think that's why I thought you meant last year.
I can understand now why you asked the question. Anybody do that to you when you were getting called up, play tricks on you?
I never, no. Unfortunately not. Yeah, it was pretty up front.
Well, you can't reach over and get them back, can you, those sunglasses? Did he get the ball too? Or did he not get the ball and lose his sunglasses? He got double whammied.
I'm sure they'll retrieve him in between innings.
There's a pair of regular glasses and sunglasses. Maybe that's a triple whammy. And no baseball.
Just getting a piece of it, Revere.
Boy, you'd hate to see Revere pull a foul ball down there right now, wouldn't you?
You know that's what they're thinking. They're just hoping that a ball doesn't come down there and smash the glasses. It's not that far away from the railing. I'm surprised somebody just doesn't reach over there and grab it. Just a couple of feet from that cement.
Two pitch to Ben Revere. Full count, 3-2. Freddie Galvis in the on deck circle. And the payoff pitch to Revere. Popped him up. Harrison coming in. He'll call off Mercer. And the Phillies will strand a base runner. Last wraps for the Bucks. We'll look to see the ball here in the top of the ninth. Against the Cubs. See Jeff Locke on the hill for the Bucks in the first of this set tomorrow afternoon, starting at 1:30 with Pirates pregame, presented by WB Mason. Jeff Locke against Kyle Hendricks tomorrow. You can watch it right here on Root Sports. It'll be just like watching it through newly clean lenses. Rough time with the eyewear over there today.
Lens pop out. Probably scratched up a bit.
Jeff Francoeur remains in the game. He'll go to right field. And the new pitcher is Ken Giles. He's been tough.
0.59 ERA. 16 punch outs, 15 in the third innings.
And Josh Harrison leads the ninth inning off, fouling it off to the right. Out of play. Josh, 2 hits today. 7th multi-hit game of the season. Giles gets ahead of him 0-2. Well, that 2-run home run by Matt Carpenter of the Cardinals in the 8th inning has given St. Louis a 2-1 lead over the Indians. Their interleague series that concluded just a short time ago. Cubs are in action against the Mets right now. Mets up 5-1 in the top of the 5th inning. The Mets' Anthony Recker. 2 home runs.
Against Travis Wood, I believe.
Well, this one is poked in the air into no man's land. The 3rd hit of the afternoon for Jay Hay.
There you go, Jay Hay. It's when he's going good is when he can extend the strike zone. And see this pitch, it's down. Not quite off the plate, but just able to get down there and get wood on it. We've seen that last year from Josh. Covering all quadrants, up, down, in, and out.
Harrison 3 for 4, 3 base hits. And now Neil Walker, who is 0 for 3. This one goes back to the screen on the swinging strike, and down to second base goes Harrison.
But Jay up to 200.
This will be a passed ball on Rupp.
Just whiffed on it. See that very often. Maybe on a good breaking ball or fastball with a lot of movement, but that looked fairly straight.
Oh, 1 pitch to Walker. To first base. That'll move Harrison over to third base. 1 out. And Neil 0 for 4. That 8-game hitting streak in jeopardy. More than likely over. Pirates need at least 4 runs for him to get another chance to extend it. Starling Marte, the batter. 2 for 3, facing Giles. Marte got a hit off him in the 8th inning last night. Marte hits this one well to left center field. Back it goes, and this ball is off the wall. Harrison will score, and into second base with an RBI double is Starling Marte. Marte with a 3-hit day.
Well, you break up the shutout. Marte continues to swing the bat well in this ballpark. Loves hitting here. 3 more hits, a 25th RBI, a hanging breaking ball. I think he thought it was out of the ballpark. Didn't miss by much from landing in the seats.
Herrera in the right spot for that deflection off the railing. Marte all the way into second base, and he will end up chasing Ken Giles. A pitching change for Philadelphia. Jonathan Papelbon coming in. games going on as Starling Marte picked up his second double of the season. And make sure to stay tuned at the conclusion of this game. We'll send you right back there where Rob and Teak are preparing for the post-game show. So keep it tuned. We'll break it all down for you. Have analysis, highlights. Brock and I will join him for a short while as well. So that's coming up. Pirates trying to find a way to put 3 more runs across. They'll have to do it against Papelbon, who earned a save last night and became the Phillies' all-time leader in saves.
Looking for his 8th now as Pedro comes to the plate. He's the 1.26 ERA, 16 strikeouts, 4 walks. Opponent sitting under 200 against him.
Phillies will shift around to the right for Alvarez. Papelbon looking in. A swing and a miss. One of the papers today in Philly said about last night's save, Papelbon slams the door on Pirates. Well, if you watch the game, he more like kicked the door open for the Pirates when he threw a ball away at first base, allowing Lombardozzi, the pinch runner, to go from first to third with a tying run. And was lucky a double play and a strong throw from Frank Hoare ended the game. Otherwise, it would have been a tie game. That throw's offline any which way. And it was a good gamble to take. It was the right move. But if that throw is offline even a little, Lombardozzi is safe and the game's tied.
Frank Hoare shut the door.
That's what the headline should have been. You should write the headlines. That's pretty good.
There is a person, I think, like the writer doesn't write the headline, correct? There's a headline.
No, there's a headline. 0-2. Marte is being given third base if he wants it.
Yeah, he tried to take it on that 0-1 pitch. Pedro fouling it off, had to retreat. He can go now.
Which is inside, and Marte goes down to third, and that won't be a stolen base. It's indifference. Marte down to third. And 1 out for Alvarez. 1-2 pitch coming. Off speed, hits it to the right side. Let's get a run in. So Pedro drives in Marte. 2 men out. It's now a 4-2 game. That run is charged to Giles. Giles gives up 2 earned runs in 1/3 of an inning.
Perhaps Clint Hurdle, I mean, obviously, uncontested the third base. I guess the only argument or only thing that Clint Hurdle could say to Marte is, now you're taking off, they're giving it to you, but what if we hit a soft pop-up or a line drive at somebody? You end the game on a double play because you're moving to third base. I mean, that's the one risk you have, even though they're giving you the base. I mean, you could still run yourself out of the game.
Jung Ho Gun. Foul ball for strike 1. Hit by a pitch for the second time this series. Marte and Walker discussing in the dugout. 2 down, top of the 9th. Pirates down a pair of runs. Jung Ho now down 2 strikes. Bucks down to the last strike today. And the Phillies a strike away from splitting this series. A series where the Pirates felt strongly, at least 3 out of 4 here. Oh, 2. And Jung Ho is hit by a pitch again. And this is interesting now because Andrew McCutchen is on deck. And he represents the tying run.
Yeah, that's a secret weapon I don't know how much of a secret it is for the folks in that Phillies dugout. They knew Andrew McCutchen was over there and he'd get an opportunity if he became the tying run. And that's a split finger, I believe. I don't think that was a fastball, but missing badly. And you might think no harm, no foul. Like you mentioned, Andrew McCutchen. An opportunity to tie things up here for the Pirates.
Well, McCutchen has only faced Papelbon twice before. He's 0 for 2 against him. At .231, he's been swinging a much better bat today. A scheduled off day for him, but Clint Hurdle pulling him out of the dugout here to pinch hit with 2 outs in the top of the ninth and a man on. Ball 1 to Kutch.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get a single pitch to hit.
I think 400 of his last 7 games with a home run, 6 runs batted in. Hit his home run here 2 days ago. And he pops it up.
Ooh, he got a pitch to hit too.
This is going to do it. Ryan Howard will make the catch. And the Phillies salvage a split with the Pirates. Pirates won the first 2 games.